Welcome to the first episode of The Things We Tell. Gaby Mlynarczyk is a nationally recognized mixologist and is currently running the bar program at Birch, for which she won Best Culinary Cocktail from Time Out LA. Her cocktails have appeared in the LA and New York Times, Los Angeles Magazine, People, Fast Company, Forbes, GQ, and Vice, just to name a few. I wanted to sit down with Gaby because she's an artist whose creativity blends into everything she touches. She's truly a Renaissance woman and a great friend. Join us as we discuss feminism, fashion, and of course a cocktail featured on her highly respected blog, The Loving Cup. So today you're going to make a drink that you wrote about on your blog.
Yes, indeed.
It's a fascinating story.
Vita Sackville-West, who was the lover of Virginia Woolf. In the 1920s, kind of 30s, she was this kind of badass socialite that decided that she didn't want to live by society's norms. She was like sleeping with men and women and just, doing her thing, just living, enjoying her life. So I found her story really interesting in that, I think we always think of women of that age being like super demure and she wasn't. She was the exact opposite. She was someone that, was a hellraiser. I just kind of wanted to highlight this woman that was beautiful, rich, and living her life, and everyone just kind of had to deal with it. So Pim's Cup is traditionally a British summertime drink, and the drink fit into the story in that Vita had been gallivanting all over the south of France, debauching her female lover Violet, and I figured that a Pim's Cup would be a good, refreshing drink.
After you've been debauched?
Yeah, after craziness. Rhubarb is also a very traditional English ingredient, as well as Pim's being a traditional English drink. And the rhubarb is infused in gin and vermouth, and you get all of that beautiful kind of pink juice coming out, really kind of vibrant and vegetal. And it's mixed here with a little bit of bourbon, aperitivo, and a fruit beer called Strawberry Lambic. And that's it.
All right, let's do it.
Got 2.5 ounces of the rhubarb Pims.
I love that it's pink too.
Half ounce simple syrup, half ounce of lemon, half ounce of, today I've got Contratto bitter, but you can use Aperol. And then a half ounce of bourbon. And the bourbon just kind of adds a little bit of a vanilla note to the drink. Mm-hmm. And then I've just got some bitters over here to like balance it out.
That smells good.
Some ice.
My favorite part that you do. This is because this is the thing that I remember when we first met and I would come see you at Ink. And then you'd be at the bar and you would shake, and then I would try to talk to you. You'd be like, I can't. You're like, blah, 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 blah. No, I can't hear you.
Yeah, literally. Like, why are you talking to me?
Like, please, just eat your food and go.
Right. Strain this in here.
This looks so nice.
Deliciously delightful.
After a night out with your lover.
Yes. I mean, I would really like to know what she was actually doing to this woman. But maybe I don't want to know.
Why is it like known that she was like notoriously, like she would just completely.
She would ravage her female lovers like she was a man, like a Viking almost. Just, debauching these poor women. Obviously they loved it. And there you go. Bit of summer.
Thank you.
All right. I felt a connection to the Bloomsbury group which was a kind of artistic and literary movement in the early part of the 1900s, and through to like the 50s and the 60s. I think I was really drawn to that group of people. They had this amazing house in the south of England called Charleston House that was just beautifully decorated. The painters would just kind of like paint every single surface in the house, and I think I was really attracted to the Bloomsbury group more than just like Vita Sackville-West.
Was she part of the group?
She was on the fringes. Virginia Woolf was part of the group because of her association with Virginia Woolf, and she was kind of like a cock tease to Virginia Woolf.
Oh, so she didn't like.
They had an affair, but it was really super short-lived, and they continued this. It wasn't a platonic relationship, but it was definitely a non-sexual but very flirtatious relationship, where I think Vita was teasing Virginia Woolf, who was also a lot older than Vita.
Yeah, I never have any of those. I've never had any of that.
What's that?
the
cock teasers?
You started in fashion, and which I always loved, and I think it shows in your cocktails that you're a painter. You're an incredibly talented painter, and you started in fashion, and Vivienne Westwood was your mentor, and all that stuff really, I think, shapes how you view stuff.
Yes. I mean, the whole design aspect of a drink, it's not just, stuff that you plop into a glass with ice. It's all of it has to have a relationship together. Whether it's flavors that are complementary or a garnish or just the way the drink is presented, I think is like super important, because I think with something that you're eating or drinking, you always eat with your eyes first, so it has to be beautiful. You want that immediate response. Whereas if it's just like something quite plain, you get less of an impact, I think. And I know it might sound a little bit superficial that it has to look good to actually taste good, but I think a lot of it is psychological for us.
I think it depends
so
too.
For me, it's important that it's presented properly.
You always use stuff that's sort of beautiful, but beautiful in a different way. Like this, you have the greens in here are the rose geranium.
But they add a scent to the drink too, so that when you put it up to your mouth to drink, you're getting the scent from the leaves too. That's also part of the entire design package of a drink.
Mm-hmm. And how is it to have Vivienne Westwood as your mentor?
It was a little bit weird, for sure. It was a long time ago, but I remember being incredibly excited when she was introduced to me. She's awesome, super artistic, and like not very linear in the way she thinks, obviously, but just a really inspiring badass of a woman. And I think a great role model for me at that point in my life as a fledgling designer. Yeah, she's an amazing woman.
I think that's part of the problem, is that as women, there's so many times that we forget how badass we are and how creative we are.
Well, because we're kind of told that we're not supposed to be voicing our opinions. I mean, I grew up in the 70s and the 80s where feminism, what it is today, wasn't exactly what it was then. And you're still a woman, the little woman that kind of should just shut up and listen to what she's told to do. So I think meeting someone like Vivienne Westwood, who was so upfront about everything that she felt and wanted to do, was just super inspiring to me as both a young female and as a young designer.
The thing that I really respect and that I love about what's happening in feminism now, especially, is that there's, and I don't know if it's because it's a generational thing, like where we've seen both sides, or like we've seen it where it's been very divided. Like you're either on board or off board. You're either gonna like stay at home or you're gonna, run a company. And now I think that it's intense because there's a combination, but I also think you don't have to be masculine. We're starting to learn to appreciate our femininity and understand that there's strength in that femininity.
Yeah, totally. I think before women were competing with men trying to be men, trying to prove that they're, you know, just as good, as strong, as fast, smart. But I think a lot of women kind of lost their identity through it. So yeah, it's nice to see there's like a shift of people actually finding a little bit of a balance, I guess.
Right, because that's it. It's
No,
like, how do you, as an artist, as a writer, as like whatever you're going to do, as a mother, as a friend, you know, it's like all of that. I feel like it's so important to figure out what that balance is, and that it's going to be different for everyone. But that's what I feel like I'm always trying to search for, is like, how do you, in everything that I do, how do you make good things? Like, how do you, like, you add a little of this, you add a little of that, like, how do you be the best person you can be?
God, I don't know. I mean, I struggle with it every day. I'm an asshole most of the time.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
Why? I mean, like, not why you're an asshole, but why do you think you're an asshole? I know and love you, so I don't think you're an asshole.
Because I think I'm very vocal, and I try not to take any shit, and I like things a certain way, and I'm demanding, and
But you also have one of the biggest hearts.
I think, you know, in the past I've like stopped on the street and given my coat to a homeless person, and you know, given them my bedding because they were freezing. But you know, on a day-to-day level, I'm an asshole.
Well, you're my favorite asshole, but do you think if you were a guy, you'd be an asshole too?
That's exactly what I was about to say. I don't know. I don't think I would be viewed as an asshole. I think I would be viewed as like a strong man. And again, this is going to devolve into like feminism, and
that's what it's all about.
And the power of, you know, who we are as women. I don't know. Would I be? I don't know.
We're taught to be so polite, and I think politeness is important, but then I think what we're starting to learn now is how to temper politeness with strength, and that how to have both. And that's not something, like, I wish there was a class in school of how to teach, you know, how to do that. There's something about feminism where somehow the idea of femininity was taken out of feminism. You know, where feminism, even though by the word itself is feminine, somehow it connotates or it brings to mind the lack of femininity, when if anything, it should do the opposite. We should find strength in the fact that we're compassionate and that we let the other person go first sometimes. And if we feel like, you know what, I know the way, I'm not going to just stand back and go, oh, if you want to go, but you don't know where you're going. Like, we should feel confident to just say, I know how to do this. You have a great taste and a great aesthetic, obviously, clearly, you know, you win awards for it, you are respected for it, you know, so if you know something, there should be no problem in you being able to say, no, this is how you do it. I think that's the next step of where, as women, we will find our strength in understanding that feminism is femininity, and femininity is feminism.
Let's hope so.
All right, well, I'm not gonna drink more.
Cheers.
I love you, and thank you for being here for the first LA Loving Cup and the Things We Tell.
Welcome.
Together.
Glad you got me out of bed.